Hey guys, welcome back to B2B Tech. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to look at the evolution of phones. Particularly, I want to do some episodes of specific phones. And I kind of want to start off with Samsung. And I want to go by so I got two different series I want to do. One is basically the S series. The other series that I want to look at is the Note series. So going back to early 2000s, when cell phones really started taking off, there were tons of different phones. Look at here. You've got your Blackberries, different styles of Blackberries. Your Palm Trios, old school Nokias. I like to call that the brick. Your Motorola Razors, your Samsung. This is when Samsung was trying to, this right here had a keypad in it, but the numbers and letters all changed on the orientation of the phone. Pretty cool phone. The old school Pantex. Oldie but goodie. One of my very first phones after the Nokia phone. Sprint Sanyos. Had this phone forever. HTC 4G LTEs with the expandable battery on it, with the kickstand already built into it. Another Sanyo with the expandable antenna. I mean, come on, man. Now, I know a lot of you out there around my age in the 40s, born in the 80s, maybe even the 70s, especially the 90s, you're going to remember this thing, the Motorola pagers or beepers. They're all called different. This is the more modern one, the LCD in it. But again, your Windows phones, all your Windows phones, Note 4 Xiaomi's, another HTC's. Just these were the phones that really made things worth it. I don't know if any of y'all ever seen the blur, but the little blur here. And I'll get into a lot of these other phones in different videos. And your newer Motorola's, but your iPhones. I mean, you can see here I've got all the old iPhones, starting from the very first iPhone up to 14, I think. I do collect them, and these are things that I'm trying to use as learning tools for my kids, teaching them about technology and just things that they may never need to know that information, but I love it, so they're going to learn it. But anyway, so I love that stuff, man. But just kind of, I'm not going to get into a whole lot of information, because a lot of you guys already know a lot about these phones. But I kind of just, it's one of those things, man, where I just get excited talking about this stuff. So, really the nostalgia of it, bringing back some old memories, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. We're just going to go back in time a little bit and look at these phones. So today, I'm going to briefly go over just kind of the S series up to whatever I've got. I think I've got up to an S8, 9 maybe. I think I got up to an S9. let's look at some of these real quick. We'll make this quick. I got multiples of the same phone, so I don't really know why. I have like 3 S4s, you know, 3 S5s for whatever reason. But anyway, all right, so ended up with 3 of those somehow. S2, Galaxy S, and 3. All right. So again, today I just wanted to kind of do a quick video and kind of go over some of the S series from Samsung. And I'm going to do a video of the entire S series, but I'm going to do episodes. I'm going to do little videos of, like, say, the S1, S2, S3, S4, F5, S6, all the way up to whatever I got. So y'all remember this one? This is the very first Samsung Galaxy S, the very first one. There were different models of it because of different carriers. This is a US Cellular. You have the S, then you got the S2. Again, same kind of deal. They had different variants of it. They weren't much of difference. There were little subtle differences. S3. So here's your S1, your S2 here, and then your S3. So I've got, for some reason, I got 3 of the S3, S4, and S5 for whatever reason. But here you go. S4 and S5. So I've even got a Galaxy Express 3. It's basically the same thing as the S3. Of course, but you can see where they're different. You can see the back is a bit different. Not much, but again, subtle changes. So those are good. Those are fun. And like I said, I'm going to do like little episodes, doing a couple phones at a time. I don't want to go through a whole hour video of all these phones and that kind of thing. But, you know, I do want to just show some of them off. Now, for me personally, these were the fun ones right here. This started with the S6. And I absolutely love the way this one looked compared to, you know, even the S5. It started getting that squared off look. But you can see that it started getting squared off. There. Then I got an S7, but this is the active model. This is that one that you know, you wanted to buy your kids, your teenage kids, because it was so much harder to destroy, because it already came with this rugged back piece, you know, right here. Great phone. It was a really top seller for a long time. And then you would come across the second favorite style for me. So I love the S7. I'm sorry, I love the S6. And then the S7 came along, and it was fine, but I didn't really get that one. That wasn't my kind. These here, man. S8 Plus fingerprint magnet phone. God, this glass back, I hated it. It broke so easily. You've got your fingerprint sensor there, your main camera, your flash. This is where it started with getting it to where they started to become rounded edges. And, you know, again, that's fine. It is what it is. That's what they came across. Here's your S9. This one doesn't have it on the back. I think I had to replace this back. And it didn't have the S9 logo on it, but it's the S9. Same concept as the S8. They really look exactly the same. So Samsung not changing much up is pretty much how they've always done it. I mean, they go, if you look at the S1 to the S2, they changed it. Moved that camera bump. same camera bump for the most part, but they moved it to the middle. And then from the 2 to the 3, then they just added the speaker and then the flash here instead of it being here. Then from the 3, hold on. From the 3 to the 4. So here's your 3, here's your 4. They kind of backtracked for what reason or another and put a bigger camera up here with the flash. And then your S4 to your S5, not a whole lot of a difference. Then your S5 to your S6. Now this is hugely different. It's not so bubbly in the back. This is flat. But the camera module, all they did was take it from here, moved it up here. You know, it's a little subtle movements that they do with these phones, but even nowadays with the Notes and then with all of the Galaxy S series from, you know, S, whatever we're at now, 25 to, I mean, it's subtle, but, you know, from the very first one to say to the S24 Ultra, from the very first one, it's a huge difference. That's a huge difference. So even from the S9 to the S25 Ultra, it's a huge difference. But check this out. I don't know if you've seen any videos about this, but the S9, the S24 Ultra, look at the difference in size here. You would think being so far apart, years, that this would be much smaller, but it's really not. I mean, it is smaller, don't get me wrong, but it's not really that much smaller. You know, we're looking about right there. This is it right here, right there. That's it's crazy, man. That's crazy. Now, the size of the width of this is crazy different. So really, from your very first to the, well, I don't have the S25, but they're not much different. So we're going to use this as the 25 because, like I said, there's a whole not a lot of difference. But look at that, man. Look at that. Look at the difference in these phones, man. And it's really cool for me personally to have all of these different phones. I mean, I've got one of these, the Samsung. Look at that. Your phone on the front, MP3 player on the back. Come on, man. How cool was that? These things right here, man, get me so excited. I can't help myself. These things are fun. I got this one here just the other day. This is your Motorola. This is a different style of the blur. I don't know if I've never seen this before, so it was kind of cool to get this. But this one was your Motorola, and it was a slide out as well. How cool is that, man? I didn't know this existed. I knew T-Mobile had their Sidekicks, was probably one of the most popular phones, gosh, for a long time. Never knew this phone existed. I saw it yesterday, let's see, maybe last week or the week before that, I saw this on eBay. I had to have it. Here's an LG that I picked up, LG Velvet. You can still use it to this day, but it's all cracked up. I got to get that fixed. And here's my purple iPhone 14 that I got to get the screen replaced on. But I got those phones super, super cheap. That's why I get them used. I just fix them up. It's not really a big deal or anything, but I just wanted to do a quick video on these real quick just to kind of throw a little nostalgia out there and kind of just get people to remember these kind of phones. But let me show you a couple more older phones real quick before I get done with this video. Check out this Ericsson. Check out this Sprint phone. This is one of my favorite phones of all time. I love this phone. I didn't get to use it very long, but this is a Sprint right here. I can't remember the model of this, but my favorite part was your little microphone that bent down. You know, you really some tough shit, man. You had this back in the day. It was a cool phone, but you know, I don't know if many of y'all remember these, but this is a lot of times you got these when you were a kid. It was almost like a track phone, and you would get one of these days. It almost looks like a, if any of y'all remember the home phones when they first went from wired to wireless, this is what it reminds me of every time I look at it. You know, so again, I got some old phones. 90% of all the phones that I have work. Of course, you can't put SIM cards in any of them really, but if they have Wi-Fi, majority of the time I can get them working to play with, you know, whatever. And I'll do some videos in the future on a lot of these phones, majority of them. But this video was just to kind of reminisce a little bit on the old school Samsung Galaxy S's when they were fighting iPhone. When iPhone took over the market and just blew up, Samsung got back in there with this phone right here. Wasn't a huge hit, but they sold enough to continue making them. So they had, you know, like I said, I've got the very first one. It does turn on. Let's see. They are super slow. They don't hold a charge very well. I don't even know if I can get this thing to, oh, look, there it goes. It did turn on. So yeah, it does still work. It still holds a charge. It charges great. Battery. Look at that. Look at that animation. It's been a while since I'm sure a lot of you have heard that, if you even remember hearing that. But yeah, you know, you can swipe up on the glass. Oh, swipe over. Oh, swipe over to unlock. Look at that. Oh, it's got an old school gallery. Man, this thing is just it's odd, to be honest, to hold this phone in 2025 and remembering how easy they were to use, but also at the same time how difficult they could be to use. So, you know, it's cool, man, and it's on my Wi-Fi, if you can see that. You know, it's I tell you what, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna go to some of the old school ringtones and let's see what we can figure out, if I can get to it. Lord, it's been forever since I've done that. But sound settings, let's see, where are the tones? Notification ring. Here we go. Voice call ring. Here are your ringtones. Let's listen. Here's a default. That's Aqua Marina. Tell me in the comments if you guys remember any of these ringtones, if it strikes a chord with you to get you to remember back in the day of using these. Or maybe your parents using them, you know. Man, I used this one when I had this phone. Because I remember getting this phone after I got the second one. So when I got the Galaxy S2 and it broke, I went backwards and got this one. I remember using these. Man, they're so horrible. They're great, you know. It's a wine bottle. Who names this stuff? But yeah, man, it works. It works. It's got a full charge. I already charged this phone. Dude, it's really cool, man, to be able to go back in time and use these phones and go back to early 2000s without going back, you know. So anyway, leave me some comments, man, if y'all remember any of these phones, if you had any of these phones. What was your favorite kind of ringtone? You know, remember the old school Nokias, you know. Anyway, I appreciate y'all's time hanging out with me, going back in time a little bit, seeing all the going through and just kind of reminiscing a little bit. So I appreciate y'all's time. I'm going to get into not really so much a comparison videos of any of these. It's just, you know, kind of going over the S1, S2, S3 as a group, and 4, 5, 6 as a group, 7, 8, 9 together. That's really all I'm going to be able to do on those. And then after that, we're going to go over the Note series. And like I said, it's not more of a, I'll go over some specs a little bit here and there, but just kind of turning the phones on, looking at them, and kind of just going over all the phones and when they came out and that kind of stuff, you know, just to kind of have a little bit of fun with it. So if you guys can think of anything you want to look at with these and anything specific you want me to go over with these phones, leave them in the comments, hit me up, let me know, and we can do that. Not a problem whatsoever. And I think it'd be a fun little series to do. So like I said, leave some comments, like, share, subscribe. We'll see y'all in the next one.